I'm announcing the first tranche of sanctions.
These sanctions are a major step.
And we hold further sanctions at readiness to be deployed.
Money, the most powerful tool humanity has ever created. It fuels dreams, builds nations, and tears them down. But behind the glittering facades of financial hubs and skyscrapers lies a shadowy battlefield. A war fought not with guns or armies, but with currencies, policies, and strategic moves so subtle, you'd hardly notice. This is the story they don't want you to know. A story of manipulation, dominance, and the battle for global economic supremacy.
What many are calling a currency war. It's all-out economic warfare between the two biggest economies in the world, US and China.
To understand the hidden battle for global economic power, we must first ask, what is money? Beyond the paper, the coins, or the digits on a screen, money represents trust, control, and influence. It's a weapon that has shaped the rise and fall of empires. Throughout history, powerful nations have wielded their currencies like swords. From the Roman denarius to the British pound, and now the US dollar, these currencies became global standards, ensuring their nation's dominance. But this dominance comes at a cost, and where there's power, there's always a rival. The rise of the petrodollar. The year was 1973. The world was in chaos after the oil embargo shook economies to their core. But the United States found a way to not only stabilize its economy, but secure its dominance for decades to come. The petrodollar deal. In a groundbreaking agreement with Saudi Arabia, the U.S. ensured that oil would only be traded in dollars.
And succeeded in making the greatest deal that has ever been made in history. Because of that deal, an ocean of oil began to function as a mountain of gold. So Saudi Arabia would sell its oil for only US dollars.
This created an insatiable global demand for the U.S. currency, linking the dollar's strength directly to the energy market. This deal was genius. It essentially made the U.S. dollar the world's energy currency. But it also made the global economy vulnerable to American policy decisions. While the petrodollar strengthened U.S. dominance, it sowed seeds of resentment among other nations, who began plotting their escape from the dollar's grip. In the world of economic warfare, some battles are fought silently through the manipulation of currencies. China, the manufacturing powerhouse of the world, has long been accused of devaluing its yuan to make its exports cheaper and dominate global trade.
China devalued its currency several times last week.
Trying to stimulate their economy by devaluing their currency in a surprise move, they're making it cheaper for people to buy Chinese goods. They're a big exporting country.
When a country devalues its currency, it's like putting its goods on sale for the world. It creates an unfair advantage, flooding global markets with cheaper products. But this isn't just about trade. Currency manipulation can destabilize economies, destroy industries, and spark retaliation. The 21st century has seen a cascade of these currency wars, with the US and China locked in a titanic struggle for dominance. And the casualties? Everyday people, factory workers, farmers, and small businesses caught in the crossfire. In the shadows of traditional finance, a new player has emerged: digital currencies. Cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin, are decentralized, threatening the monopoly of governments and banks over money.
Bitcoin is not controlled by any central authority, and Bitcoin can offer almost anonymous transactions.
Cryptocurrencies are revolutionary because they take control away from centralized institutions. But this terrifies governments because they thrive on controlling money. While Bitcoin and Ethereum capture the imagination of tech enthusiasts, nations like China are taking the offensive, creating state-backed digital currencies. The digital yuan, in particular, is designed to challenge the US dollar's dominance in global trade. If successful, this could shift the balance of power, triggering a digital Cold War unlike anything we've seen.
It's also about the Chinese regime's increasing global power and its long-running battle with the US dollar. China's new digital currency is a huge threat to the US.
In the arsenal of economic warfare, sanctions are perhaps the most visible weapon. By restricting a nation's access to global markets, sanctions cripple economies without a single bullet being fired. Sanctions are incredibly powerful, but they're also a double-edged sword. They isolate nations like Iran and Russia, but they also push them to find alternatives to the US-dominated financial system. This has led to alliances like BRICS, nations seeking to break free from the dollar's dominance by creating new systems of trade and finance.
Of 5 major emerging economies that have come together to foster international collaboration across various key sectors. Formed in 2006, BRICS was initially marked for highlighting investment opportunities and had not been a formal intergovernmental organization. In 2009, they formed a more cohesive geopolitical bloc, and their governments held annual meetings at formal summits.
As the 21st century unfolds, the battlefield of economic power is evolving. Technology is reshaping how money works, and nations are racing to adapt. But the question remains, who will lead in this new era? The future of economic power belongs to nations that can innovate, harness AI, and control resources like renewable energy. The next frontier might not even be on Earth. It could be in space. The battle for economic supremacy will shape not just our world, but the next chapter of human history. Money is power, but in this hidden war, power is constantly shifting, and the winners are never guaranteed. The question is, who will control the future of global economic power? This is the untold angle of the money wars.